Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 563. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Ahoy.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 563 of the Gamecast. All right, guys. I didn't get to. I went to go play Psychonauts a little bit today, and I had to update it, and it took a while. By the time I sat down to play it again, I didn't have time to play much. So, but it is very smooth, I will say. Like, holy crap, that 120 hertz frame rate, I can see it more in a platformer than I could in the Rogue Leader game that I was talking about a couple weeks ago. The 120 frames per second. It's very noticeable when you do a platformer, like that kind of thing. I'm like, okay, wow, that's pretty awesome, actually. So, again, you can do it in 4K 60, which is pretty awesome, or you can just do it in I think it's like a 1440 for 120 frames. So, it's negligible graphic wise, but very great and like butter smooth frame rate. So looks interesting. I've heard great things about it. So I've never played the original Psychonauts. So
it's just a platformer pretty much.
Well, I mean, it's platformer. No, it's not. I mean, no, because you go into corridors and it's a 3D adventure game. I mean, that's really what you can say it's like. 3D adventure. It's not just like jumping platform to platform. It's not like I wouldn't even say Mario-esque. It was more. I'm trying to think what it's more like. I mean, it reminds me of more like. I mean, Ratchet and Clank is a platformer still, isn't it? I mean, it reminds me more of that style, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a fun platformer. All right.
I'm not saying unfun. It's actually getting very good scores. I'm looking forward to getting into it more. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me in terms of gaming wise. I think I didn't get to play any Switch stuff. So all right, that's it for me. Corey, been playing anything?
Yeah, I've been playing more Miles Morales.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm probably halfway through at this point. Like, really enjoy the new powers because like Spider-Man was great, but then adding a different set of powers and maneuvers and puzzles because of the powers that are involved here, it's fun. It's nice little mix up. It doesn't feel exactly like, oh, we just do this together. It feels like its own game. So I'm enjoying that. And I played more Tribes of Midgard. They're gonna have like a update in a week or so. So kind of gearing up for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting to see. All right, Mike.
Well, I finished Greedfall. Greedfall, and the endings felt a little abrupt, but I'm not surprised. The game does so many things like real good. It took some time. I even did the expansion stuff. There was a little expansion that you can do mid-game. And no, there's these details where like, your companions are of certain factions, and certain factions won't let your companions go into some places. They all have relevant things to say. And sometimes if you bring the right companion with you, they can help you pass a certain speech check if you can't by yourself, or you could just appeal to them. So it has real good stuff like that. There's good interactions with that. And it did something near the end, although not completely, not for as long as I'd like, that I always think, especially more modern games should do. When you have this companion system, you have 5 companions and the player character total, but you only ever take 2 with you. But for the finale, there is a section where they all come with you at once. You're like a roving group of 6 people. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I think that should, like, I would have liked that in Fallout 4, other games similar to that. Like, it's not like it's gonna tax.
I think they're actually, you can actually fight with them in a party. Like, it just reminded me of like Mass Effect 2 when you actually your entire team. Like, that's what I loved about that part of it. Like, it reminds me of that. That's what it sounds like.
In this game, they don't particularly like, you don't give them really instructions. They more you outfit them with stuff, but they don't like, they just do their own thing. So they worked out pretty well. But then the ending happens, and there's slides, and obviously I did all of the side missions except for 2 sort of boring, fetchy, like wander the world and pick shit up missions. I did all the side quests. I made all the factions nice to me, made all the companions nice to me. Did not romance any of them because it didn't work. Like I don't know, I was too forceful and then too unforceful, the wrong ones at wrong times, and I just didn't care that much either. But there's not really much else to do, and it's funny because I read that the level cap is level 90, and I felt pretty strong beating the game at level 37 or 8. So I don't know what you're supposed to do to to get that high up, because I did almost everything there is to do in the game. So I'm pretty much done with that. And then, since I had some Microsoft account points, because that's what people know to get me for my birthday, I I got the expansions for Control. I got Foundation
nice.
and AWE. I went back to Control, and I went through most of those too. The Foundation one is solid. It's about what you'd expect. It's a little post-game story. I'm glad that these take place after the main game story, because they should. I hate when you go back to a game that you've done and like for months, and then it's like, oh yeah, just pretend you're in the middle of it again. It's like, no. So that was good, but the bigger one I think is the AWE one, which ties into the news from last week, because it's very Alan Wake heavy, to the point where I'm like, am I getting spoiled here from this game? But everything is so abstract and like removed. I think I'll be fine. Like, I'm still very confused, even though I finished most of the story, but that's kind of how.
Is that what AWE stands for? Alan Wake
well,
extras?
That's the idea, like Alan Wake expansion maybe, but really within the lore, AWE is an altered world event according to the Bureau, and you'll read about it. That's what they name any weird sort of occurrence that happens. So that was good, and it has its own side quest. I have a few more to do. Game's still hard though, but not crazy.
Yeah. It ramps up. There's like an easy parts, and then there's like stupid hard parts.
The worst thing is absolutely those screaming, teleporting witch things that pop up behind you. But like by far, everything else is you can deal with easily. But fuck that enemy.
I had to cheese that. That's how I beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. I do remember though now, going back to this, is that this game really runs like shit on on the Xbox One S. It's rough. Like, it feels like it like stutters every pause.
You have a 1S?
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's always had a 1S.
I think an X is I mean, that's obviously not going to upgrade now, but I'm just I always thought you had an X.
No, I did not. Yeah, I probably should soon, because it is what I do most of my gaming on now.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I mean, for you, this would absolutely be worth an upgrade if you want to swing it at some point with a trade and stuff. I've said it's not worth it for people, but like people with an S, yeah, I think you should upgrade. But
maybe. So, but other than that, yeah, those two games pretty good. I might give Greedfall a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
It's just so close to being great, but it loses that sheen. It's just not enough. But I don't know about Control. These expansions are good though. I've already said it's like an 8.5 for me though, that game. Cool. And I'm looking forward to Judgment coming soon. We might talk about that a little later.
Yeah, there is some stuff for that. Yeah. Tony, what have you been playing?
What was I playing? I got WarioWare.
Oh yeah, cool, awesome.
I got that too. Forgot about it.
It's pretty fun. I mean, if you played any WarioWare game before, it's same concept, but they twisted it up a little bit by giving you multiple characters, and each character has like different play style gimmicks.
Yeah,
like strengths and weaknesses kind of thing.
Yeah,
sort of. They all play differently, so they'll do different things.
Yeah, so like the basis is like Wario, he flies around, and you press A, and he does his like traditional jetpack shoulder slam. Mm-hmm. And another character, like her thing is she's always moving in her hover bike, and she like throws a boomerang and control the boomerang when it's thrown out. There's another character that's like always jumping, and they can like throw ninja stars and stuff like that.
There's a character that has this ring on his head. He just keeps doing his
he just goes like that. Like, he can't move or anything like that. He just throws like things. And it's so weird because like he combines the part of the difficulty with WarioWare is like they throw you in unfamiliar territory and ask you to do these things like within like 3 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever it is. And you have to figure it out, like A, what they're trying to do, what they want you to do, and then B, how to do it.
And in that time, they make the time shorter as you go too.
Right. So that was already difficult enough because, like, it could be something simple as like playing a Mario 1 level and it's like, get the mushroom. And it's like, oh, I know to go over here and hit the block and eat the mushroom or something like that. But when you're using characters, they all have different abilities. You're like, wait, how do I get this thing to, like, there's one that's like a turtle's flipped over on its back and you have to get it right side up. And it's like, okay, with some characters, it's easy. You just like ram right into it. But like other characters where it's like they're constantly jumping, I'm like, well, how the fuck do I do this? Like, because they're like constantly jumping. So it's like, I don't think this is possible. I don't know. So it's fun, but like kind of frustrating too, because there's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I could have solved that without already knowing how to deal with that instead of just being like completely reactionary and stuff like that. But fortunately, it's one of those things where like you don't have to play as those characters, so like I just stay away from the ones I think are quote unquote bad and stuff like that. But it's a fun game. I'm really looking forward to playing the multiplayer with it because like.
Well, that's how I played, obviously. Well, because I didn't actually play really. It was my boys.
Your boys
they
play?
played. Yeah, they just played it and they're just smashing the buttons. They don't know what they're doing really, but they did pretty well. So, and it's interesting because you do have. It's got a story. There's like a campaign mode, and so you're going through it, and your characters get sucked into his video game that Wario's making, and then so like you're playing as him at first, and then the other characters start coming in, and so then it's like, oh, we got to work together as a team, and so now you got to figure out how to solve these puzzles as with two different characters, which I think makes it easier, but at the same time, sometimes there's this one where there's this thing you have to stop it from hitting these coins or something, and like one of the characters was like doing something that made it go quicker to it, and then so like the other character had to try to get it to go away. It's interesting, but like you only have like a few seconds, like you said, to do it. It's like, all right, ready, go, 3, 2, 1, done, or something. It's like and so it's interesting, but yeah, it's good. It's cartoony and fun for that age group.
Yeah, cool. All right, anything else? That's it.
I picked up Starboy Valley again. That's fun. I mean, looking for a.
Is he making a top-down like RPG like Zelda style game? It sounds like. Is he doing that?
So something like that. I mean, dude has so much money he could do whatever he wants. Like I think they just announced it sold like 15 million copies or something stupid like that. You figure out like $15, like that's $300 million before fees and stuff like that. So I mean,
you also got that board game too as a starting.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, good success with that guy.
Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get into some news, guys. Battlefield 2042 delayed by a month.
Honestly, not that bad.
Yeah, not terrible. That's how we started the week out. That was right after the podcast, essentially last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, not that bad though.
We'll see though. I mean, there's still time. There's still time for it to get delayed more. So.
Yeah. I know. What else I have here in this? I have the FCC filing hints at a new Switch controller. Do you have that one, Tony?
Yep. I was about to mention that.
Okay.
So this was kind of interesting because when Nintendo filed this, it's they made it so like they filed it said like it's like a secret thing, like as in to not reveal the details of it because obviously they don't want that getting out there ahead of whenever they want to announce it. So it's a 180-day request for confidentiality on July 26th. But there were a few details to share. First of all, the device is wireless, uses Bluetooth, has a little bit more draw of power than one Joy-Con would. But the thing that's interesting is the label placement that were submitted in the documents. And somebody took the labels and like just the scale of it. The speculation now is that it's an N64 controller.
Whoa!
That would connect to your Switch. And the hypothesis now is that Nintendo 64 will be coming to Nintendo Switch Online. So that's the rumor mill right now, and supposedly this is going to be part of Nintendo trying to bump up the price of their Nintendo Switch Online stuff because for $20 a year, I mean it's pretty dirt cheap, and like I have you guys on my family plan for like a couple bucks a year. And stuff like this. So this is them trying to, grow the margins a little bit more because now they can be like, hey, maybe it's $25 a year or something. It's like, but you also get N64 games now. Because that would be really cool in my opinion because N64, I feel like N64 games are like stuck in this thing where it's like most of them are too janky to just get like a simple like port, like I don't think many people just be like, hey, here you just buy, whatever. Outside of games like Mario 64, like Ocarina of Time or something like that. Or it's like it needs such a rehaul for a remaster, like it'd be way more costly to do that. But I think just like simple emulation ports, and we saw like that's what happened in the Mario Anniversary Collection last year. And probably that's why they took it off the market too, because I mean, if you're going to offer that as part of the Nintendo Switch Online service, like why would you want to continue selling that in package form and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that would be really cool. I don't know if I would actually buy N64 controllers though, just because they weren't the best. That analog stick does not
maybe
hold up well.
Maybe they're going to do some sort of improvements for that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
God, I hope so, because like I have N64 controllers still, and like that analog stick does not feel good in 2021. Like it's like this little nub, and it's just like so like hard.
How many times do we rip our hands open? I mean, just
especially Mario Party.
Mario Party, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spraying plastic flakes into the air everywhere.
Yep.
And
skin, because it's ripping your skin up.
Controller I can think of where there's multiple like grips for different things.
What's that?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that was the only 3-pronged one. It is kind of fascinating, really, because they were the ones that introduced the Z button, which acted like a trigger, kind of like in GoldenEye and other shooting games and stuff like that, which really added to the immersion back then and stuff like that. But it's cool. We'll see how it goes, and I'd love. God, I hope they get the licensing for GoldenEye.
Yeah, it'd be cool. They pulled that off. That'd be impressive.
So cool. Yeah,
I don't get why games are so different than like movies. You could once a movie is done, it's done, and whoever gets to distribute it again can do it as is. You don't have to like change stuff. I understand why it's different with games, with like the music and IPs involved. And
with GoldenEye, it's the James Bond license is notoriously difficult to work with. But apparently, there was also a rumor that one of the holdouts, when they tried a couple years ago back on Wii and Xbox 360 or something like that, or around that time, was
like Xbox Arcade. It was supposed to be
Xbox Arcade. It was supposed to be on that and Wii U.
Which,
I don't know, something like that.
Apparently, that whole thing got leaked too online.
Yeah, but apparently Sean Connery was a holdup for that because you don't want his likeness to be in the game or something like that. I don't know.
I don't think that was it. I think part of the issue was, again, Barbara or whoever, Broccoli or said, there's only one James Bond at a time. I don't want any of the other ones involved. So like Daniel Craig, and it's like, okay.
So you gotta put Daniel Craig into GoldenEye. That's their fix right there.
Well, they kind of did that too.
I know. That's why
that shitty GoldenEye remake that was not great. Whatever.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. I mean, hopefully we'll see. But Sega drops a teaser for a new trailer for an RPG. Interesting.
What do you guys think?
So good. I don't know. I'm like a Sega RPG. Phantasy Star is the only one that comes to mind, really. So I'm like, I mean, there was Phantasy Star. That's really it.
You got your Like a Dragon now. There you go.
They had
Shining Force, Skies of Arcadia, Dragon Force.
Shining Force. I forgot all about that one. Well, Dragon Force, was that Sega? I don't think that was Sega.
Sega published it.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
They'd be like, the thing is, after the huge rise of Fire Emblem over the past decade, they would be so stupid to not do a Shining Force, because it'd just be like their version of Fire Emblem.
On Saturn's like $400 right now, like to get that game. What sucks is I threw that game in with my Panzer Dragoon that I sold for like $400. I was like,
hurts, man.
Yep. And Panzer Dragoon's like $1,500 now. So, because if we do Panzer Dragoon Saga, oh my god, that ending. Ugh.
Yeah. And just because we're on that real quick, like honestly, like what's his name? Negotiate, like if he does leave, I'll be sad, but at the same time, like I'm happy too, because finally, right, finally, like maybe Sega can get back onto making other games. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard about the Sonic Colors debacle.
Oh no!
Apparently, the port
absolute terrible port. Yeah,
it's terrible port. Like they made the game worse, run worse, like everything like that. And it's just like, this is fucking sad. Like, this is supposed to be for Sonic's 30th anniversary or something like that, and it's like we don't give a shit about him. It's like, that's what really made your company, and like you're just gonna turn your back on him, like release this absolute piece of shit port of one game, you know?
I'm very worried about the classic collection thing. I don't know when that's even supposed to happen, but again, I'm curious about the music in Sonic 3, because those prototype songs are so fucking bad. I think
it'll get changed.
They're so bad. I hate them.
Like, and the thing is, like I'm looking forward to the Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 port, which is coming out I think next month or something, or 2 months, and all the music has changed, and there should really be no reason why Sega doesn't have the rights to their own music, but the music is completely changed. I'm just like, why would you do, like, not even have the option to have the classic soundtrack if you want? Like,
I don't get it. Like, again,
like,
you don't have movies and TV shows like that, you know. You can play Gangster's Paradise for like 30 seconds because it's in a like scene in a TV show or movie. You don't have to change that when you show that show like on Netflix 20 years later. So
like, music is so important to nostalgia. Like, music brings you back, you know. And it's like when you're playing Super Monkey Ball, it could be anything, but without that music, it doesn't bring you back the way it should. And that's what kills the nostalgia, I think.
And that's the thing, like.
That's why the Tony Hawk thing, it was important that it got almost all of its music back. Not all of it, though, which is still annoying, but almost all of it's back. Plus,
you gotta have it. Like, it's like food and music. Just like those are things that like trigger memories.
Yeah. Like, I'm just so mad because when they released they ported the Wii game first, and I'm like, really, like, that was one of the worst ones you could possibly port. And then it's like, it sold decently enough where they're like, okay, we'll do another one. I'm like, okay, cool. It's gonna be a new game. It's like, no, it's another port. And I'm like, port of which one? They're like, oh, 1 and 2. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. That's what my preference would have been for the first one, like the first port. But it's like, why do you keep fucking us? These are like easy, like underhand pitches. It's like, hey guys, like, do you like Monkey Ball? Here's a port of 1 and 2. Like, just toss it up.
A softball.
It's a softball. But like, no, they got to fucking make it hard on this. So I'm like, why? But anyway, going on a tangent. I just want to see new stuff from Sega other than just, like, I don't want to be offensive or anything, because I obviously like Yakuza a lot, but like, I want to see them do other games again. Like, just fucking
how many
make
Yakuzas are there? Like 12?
Yeah, but again, Yakuza didn't really gain traction until like this last year in the West. That's why I think it's important that they feel secure in that before they move on. But
well, no. I'm not saying no. Like, you don't get Yakuza, but I'm just saying, like, they sacrificed every other franchise they have to boost Yakuza, and it's like, did you have to do that? I don't know. Like, shrug.
They didn't have any other franchises.
They should be. They have tons of franchises not using, and that's the problem. They're big enough to be able to make more than one game at a time. They sacrificed the entire thing to put everybody on these Yakuza games, and it's.
They did that 25 years ago? Like when? Since the fall of the Dreamcast, it's been what? In Sonic and Yakuza.
That's it. And bad Sonic. We're not getting good Sonic either. So the one good one was.
Hold on. We've had stuff like Virtua Fighter. We've had
the
PS5 exclusive Virtua Fighter,
right?
Yakuza.
We've had Choo Choo Rocket. We've had this Curl Wars. They fucking fucked up making it a PlayStation 4 only. Really, like, it's just, they have franchises. I'm not saying like they're top tier, but like, that's what you can build up. Like, nobody's saying like, hey, make a AAA like niche JRPG or something like that. But it's like, maybe you can make like Sonic Mania. Like, there's no reason they couldn't just do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? And like, look at Streets of Rage. Like, Streets of Rage 4. Yeah. Like, that game did amazing because somebody was like, yo, fucking Sega, you're not doing shit. Can we make Streets of Rage 4? And they're like, all right. It's like, anyway, that's my take.
Yeah.
So
all right. What else you got, Tony, for news?
Let's see. Let's get into the triple threat combo of bad Blizzard news.
Ooh,
it's back.
Poor dead horse.
They're not dead yet. They're getting there. They're getting
Overwatch news. Yeah.
Well, we'll start off with Overwatch and build up progressively. So Overwatch 2's boss is quitting Blizzard for some time off. And that's I don't know if I'm pronouncing this name right, but Chaco Sani, who's been at Blizzard since 2016, has worked on both Overwatch games, announced his departure to colleagues on Friday. In addition to his role in Overwatch, he was also a company vice president. Statement released by Blizzard said he's leaving Blizzard to take some time off after 5 years of service. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, doesn't look good if Overwatch 2 is expected next year. So that's the first bit of news. Second bit of news for Activision Blizzard is that their chief legal officer quits amid the lawsuit. Claire Hart has resigned from the embattled company, announced in a LinkedIn post yesterday saying that last Friday, September 17th, was her final day. Had been in the role for 3 years and previously clocked a decade at Google. Did not cite a reason for resignation, saying that the past 3 years have been full of unexpected twists and turns, but I feel honored to have worked with and met so many great people at Blizzard and across the Activision Blizzard businesses. So there you go. Bad news two. And then bad news three, perhaps the most spicy one of them all, is that the U.S. government is now investigating Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick is subpoenaed. So the SEC has reportedly launched a wide-reaching investigation into Activision Blizzard, with the government agency looking at how the embattled publisher handled the multiple allegations of sexual harassment, abuse, and toxic behavior that became public following a California Department of Fair Employment and Housing lawsuit filed in July. Asking for various documents, personnel file of 6 previous employees, records of his communications with other executives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. Wow. Fuck you, Activision Blizzard. Get fucked.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the SEC involved, that's like when wealthy people are upset about this. Because, I mean, you know, the stockholders cannot be happy. And not just the wealthy people, but I mean, like you and I, whoever's got index funds with Activision Blizzard, that fucks us up. I mean, that's a lot of money that's being, you know, lost due to people not being truthful about how things are going over there. And so now you're bringing in more like authorities and things to just take a microscopic look on this, and everything's gonna come out.
Everything.
And I don't know how they survive at this point. It's like you might as well just call your company, you know, it's Monsoon, because it's all melting. It's like it's not Blizzard anymore. It's just it's
look at the balls.
I don't know. I don't know how exactly.
Iceberg, the tip, just the tip.
I don't know how they're going to come out of this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean they had some great games, but the people that are in charge of all this stuff took advantage of their positions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they get out of this. I mean, just it sucks for their people who are making these games. We've said this before, like, you know, Diablo 2 is the most recent thing that's going to come out, and I don't think it's going to sell very well at all. And it sucks for the people
going into the playoffs. I don't care. And like Tony and I were like, this is all
we have like discussions on here about
freaking finals 2 years in a row.
Yeah. And I spent hundreds of dollars on Overwatch stuff, and it's like, well, now you're not getting anything from me. So,
and it's like, and they were bringing like esports to the mainstream.
Yep. Yeah. They totally.
Now they're just like, who knows? I mean, COVID obviously is killing that stuff too.
Just go to Rocket League. Just go to Rocket League.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, what else you got, Tony?
Let's see. Rewinding back to Sega. In like unfortunate news, but fans in Tokyo gathered to say goodbye to their legendary Sega arcade. The Sega Ikebuku Koro Giga Arcade closed on September 20th. Yesterday, fans gathered to say goodbye to the legendary game center, and Sega held to mark its 28-year run. And they said thank you for 28 years. Set to the tune of Auld Lang Syne, but with different lyrics, and it's commonly played in Japanese stores right before closing. It's kind of touching there. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I went to one of the Sega centers when I was in Tokyo. I don't think it was this one, but you could just tell like these places were just ridiculously awesome. Like even back then, this is 2000, and that was like peak. That was before Sega went out of business, so it was mainly Nintendo versus Sega.
Dreamcast just came out a year before, right?
Right, exactly. And Sega arcades were just so cool, and I remember being envious. I'm like, damn, like if only Nintendo still made arcade games, they could have that. But like Sega just had like all these huge arcade things, and it was so progressive. I remember even back then, you know, DDR had been popular in the U.S. for a number of years, but they had like stuff like Big Money or Beat Mania. They had games that were like basically what Guitar Hero wound up being, but like over in Japan and stuff like that. And I just remember having my mind blown, like, holy crap, like what is this and stuff like that. So it's super unfortunate that it's closing. Just because like I don't know, I feel like this is probably the closest thing to like outdated technology in video games. Because like when you think about it, an arcade, it's like you're paying money for temporary entertainment. But it's like usually those games, like they were too advanced for the consoles at the time, because it's like you went to the arcade to play like games that could not be experienced at home. And it's now like you can download these games for free, play them on like a dozen different devices you fucking have, including like your TV and your phone and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, who wants to go to an arcade and put like $50 into like, you know,
they're designed to like take your money. It's not like they're.
Well, I mean, if I go to an arcade lately, it's skee ball, basketball, things that.
If you go into arcade, it's because you're drinking a lot, and then you're playing some arcade games and getting tickets for a prize. That's a plastic ring. So.
I mean, okay, it's not exactly what I was going with, but all right.
No, that's arcades are Dave and Buster's now. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Well, if you have round ones, I would suggest going to those, because those are very reminiscent of Japanese arcades.
I mean, they have those like Yestercade or whatever, and like the retro places. Those are neat.
Those are cool.
Like I like that arcade we went to a couple of years ago at NYCC. That was cool, right?
Yeah.
The beer and stuff like that.
Although everything,
cool. I like that place. Yeah.
Super expensive in that one.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's why I like going.
Right?
I like bar.
Yeah, but
I do like arcade.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's part of the bowling alley, right? Yeah.
That one was a bowling alley, the one at New York Comic Con. But I'm
no, that's not the one I was talking about. I'm talking about the bar one. Wait, was that different?
No, that was
no. We went to just a bar. It was like retro games. Don't you guys remember we were playing Turtles or something like that?
Yeah, no, I remember doing
that.
That
might have been a barcade, I think.
No, it wasn't a bar. It was not an official barcade, but it was an arcade plus bar.
Okay.
Because they had like the little stands you could put your beers next to and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Like that was cool and stuff like that. So
I mean, again, our generation is, you know, we like the same shit, and now we're old. So there's stuff like that is going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
Coming back. We're bringing it back.
Yep, we can do that. All right, Tony, what else you got? Anything?
Let's see. IKEA.
Where's this going?
Yep. IKEA's new gamer gear lineup is debuting within the month. Apparently, IKEA teamed up with some designers to create a lineup of both gaming furniture and gaming accessories.
Interesting.
Stuff like drawers, affordable like gaming like chairs, stuff like that, headset rests, drink holders, pillows, ring lights, stuff like that. Which a standing desk too, that I might be interested in myself and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought I caught it in the news and I thought it was pretty cool because it's IKEA's philosophy. It's not like the stereotypical like what do I want to say, gamer like accessories where it's like the racing chair, you know, or shit like that, where it's like, you know, just like RGB on everything. It's like, okay, it's like actually like, oh, you could like, you know, be not offended by in the eyes by like looking at some of this stuff. So I just thought it was a cool thing, and I might go down to IKEA and check it out and test it out because this could always use some new.
They're so far away from me. It's if it was closer, I'd be like, absolutely.
Oh, you guys don't have one?
I mean, they're, you know, Patterson here, which is easily an hour drive. Easily.
In my mind, it's like, oh, you get something mailed to you from IKEA. Yeah.
It's not even close.
I mean, now it's not terrible though.
It's not terrible, but it's also going to Patterson's. Sorry. If you're listening from Patterson, no offense, but you know. What's that?
I think it's Elizabeth. Like, isn't it like
it's
right off the turnpike?
What's the difference?
I don't
13A or something like that.
I don't want to go to that area. Okay, there, done. Sorry.
I like going there. It's so much fun.
I like the IKEA there. I've been there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not an easy drive. So, you know, it's off the highway. I was going with that.
Highway.
Yeah. You were always on the highway. I never go on the highway. I'm a back road.
Highway's easier than like back roads.
No,
I'm always on the highway. I don't want to go there. I go to 10.
Well, 10's terrible.
So, all right. Anything else, Tony?
Last bit of news, I guess. I think we didn't report this. I think it was breaking last week, but Nintendo updated the Nintendo Switch firmware to support Bluetooth.
Yeah, I think
headset.
no, I don't think we mentioned that. We didn't mention it. No, we
I think it was like
We
right
did
after.
not mention it. You mentioned it like right after, yeah.
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 So that was cool, like, because built in it did not support that previously, but I tried it out with my Powerbeat Pros and worked fine. Like, at least apparently it's by headset where like there's could be some latency. From what I noticed, it was like very minimal. Like, you get used to it. It's not like that bad or something like that. But just cool to like carry on one less thing, because like I remember last time I did travel for a con or something like that, I had like my Apple earbuds and like a regular headset, just because it's like Switch, iPhone, because fucking piece of shit iPhones don't have that fucking port and stuff like that.
Yep. Or at least a standard USB-C port.
Yes. Yeah. Why would you? Yeah.
Which has a ton of adapters out there and available. Yes, I know.
Yep. Oh, by the way, going back to the N64 supposed controller, that's going to support USB-C charging, just like the Pro controller and stuff like that. So it's good that an N64 remake controller will support USB-C, but iPhones.
See, I always wonder, like, eventually Nintendo's going to do an accessibility controller. I really do feel like they're going to do one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this was going to be it. I was like, when you were going to get into this, I was like, okay, is this the controller finally? I feel like because Microsoft's gotten some great praise for what they've done for their controller, and I'm like, it's right in Nintendo's wheelhouse for. I don't know why. It just makes sense for them to do it. Like, there's a ton of fans they could use that kind of controller for Nintendo devices.
Yes. Well, supposedly, I forget his name. He's pretty much the spokesperson for I don't know what their official, like, handicap or disabled, one of those groups. But apparently he, like, when the Microsoft stuff did come out, I forget the name of it right now, but when it did come out, he's like, it's great Microsoft's doing this. We're excited about this, but other companies have worked with us on doing custom stuff. It's just they don't do like a wide reaching, like, hey, we're announcing this, like a widespread thing. And he did cite Nintendo as one of them. So probably, as long as the Microsoft stuff, gets some reach, I'm sure, and whatnot. But I mean, that's the name of the game in the future, because like you want to be accessible to as many people as you can to sell more games.
Yeah, the Microsoft one's called the adaptive controller.
That's it. The adaptive controller.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, that'll be cool. Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's going to wrap up this episode of the Gamecast. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us allyoucangeek@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe and the like button. Leave a comment for us there. We appreciate it, guys. We're out. We'll see you next week.